combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live. And I'm here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. And it's talking about something that's making news in the news today that I want to talk about. If you're brand new to the Jimmy Rants show, head on over to JimmyRants.com and you can learn how this works. We start off on Instagram Live, so go follow me there if you're not already following me at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. And then once you're there, you can engage live like Joshua and Amy and Katarina already are here today. Then you can watch it for up to 24 hours on replay. So go follow me on Instagram. But if you miss it on Instagram or if you don't hang out on Instagram, you can watch all the Jimmy Rants episodes on YouTube where we put them. So go type in a keyword search Jimmy Rants and you'll find all of the videos. I think we have almost 100 episodes now up on YouTube. And so go check it out there. And then finally, the Jimmy Rants podcast is on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Again, all of this information, you guys, is at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is all about something I read in the news here today. So I usually kind of peruse the news in the morning. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, peruse the news, but it did. And usually in the health realm, I get some notifications in my email box when something is making news. Well, this one today caught my attention because it was the Centers for Disease Control releasing a statistic that 40% of Americans are being very bad in their eyes because 40% of Americans are rejecting the flu vaccine. And they're like, okay, we had record deaths last year due to the flu, and therefore it's insane that everybody wouldn't go get a flu vaccination. And they cannot understand why people would not. Now, the reasons given for why people don't, a lot of times young people don't care, so they don't worry about it. So that's a big chunk of it where you have a younger generation, they're like, we're okay. And so they just don't get it done. You also have another group of people who are fearful, and it's a real and present danger, fearful that the flu vaccine will actually give them the flu. So that's another reason why people have rejected it. And then, of course, they sound the alarm on people that are very old and people that are very young, that they, above all others, should be getting the flu vaccine, okay? But I want to ask the question, why do you need to get vaccinated for the flu? Why, right? It's because you are thinking that perhaps your own immune system won't be able to take on whatever strand of flu that's out there during the season. And here's the other thing about the vaccine they don't ever tell you. They guess what will be the major strand in the vaccine. But what if it's a totally another strand and you get vaccinated for a different strand? Are you protected? No, you're not. So anyway, back to my, I'm building a plot here. So the reason why your body may not be able to handle any kind of flu that would come on in the season is your immune system is lowered. So let's look at why immunity would be lowered, okay? So it's usually first and foremost in your diet. So what do you eat in your diet that would be inflammatory, that would raise insulin, and that would lower your immune response and being able to handle any kind of foreign invaders? It's sugars and starches primarily. And so if you eat a ketogenic diet, you're not eating sugars and starches. You're allowing your body's immune system to naturally get stronger and stronger and stronger. And so if you have a strong immune system, do you really need the flu vaccine? I mean, obviously that's up to you. You'll have to make that decision. But that's one. How about if you add in extra vitamin D? So we know during the winter people get colds and get the flu, and you can't get as much sunshine during the winter time. And so in lieu of being able to get sunshine, they actually make these light therapy machines that would give you vitamin D supplementation as well, even when the sun's not out during the winter as much. So that's one option. You could also high dose supplement with vitamin D3. So I know that that's something that I've done, upwards of 5 to 10,000 IU of vitamin D3, and that also will boost your immune system. Have you heard of this thing called bone broth? Bone broth is so incredibly healing and healthy for your gut. And if your gut is healthy and healing, guess what? Your immune system is higher. So this notion and this fear mongering that is going on by the Centers for Disease Control, lamenting that 40% of you guys aren't taking their flu vaccine. They don't understand why in the world would you not take this protective measure. If you're eating keto and you're doing it with real whole foods and you're supplementing with vitamin D and you're getting bone broth and other immune boosting foods into your diet, do you really need that vaccine? I can tell you, Christine and I have never taken the flu vaccine. Now, some people would say, well, you're playing Russian roulette with your health because what if you get the flu? If I get the flu, I think my body's going to handle it pretty well. Oh, but you could die. Here's another statistic they don't tell people about with mortality regarding flu. Most of those deaths are people over the age of 75. And most of those people over the age of 75 have what? Many, many disease states. Because in their past, they didn't eat well, they didn't supplement, they didn't get all of the stuff that now we're talking about as healthy actions to take. So if you're seeing all the warnings and have you gotten your flu shot? You can't go into a Walgreens or Rite Aid or CVS right now. Have you got your flu shot yet? You need your flu shot. And I'm like, no, I don't need anything, but thank you for asking. You know, you're going to get bombarded by this. And in that bombardment, what do you do with that? I say you go eat some grass-fed meat. You have some organic vegetables cooked in bone broth and grass-fed butter. And you eat well and then supplement with some vitamin D and do all the things to keep yourself healthy, and your immune system will reward you. Now, in my latest book with Christine, my wife Christine, we have a whole section in the book about how you can boost your immunity, specific vitamins and minerals that can be helpful with that. So go get Real Food Keto. It's available wherever books are sold, currently in Costco, but also on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all the usual suspects. But you don't need to take the flu vaccine. No matter how much weeping and gnashing of teeth they're going to make about this, if you eat keto and you do it with real whole foods and you do all the things that we talked about here today, the flu vaccine is completely and utterly useless to you. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, Ashton. Thanks for being here. Katarina says it takes at least 6 to 7 years to develop a vaccine, and the flu one mutates every year. Yeah. So all the more reason why having the flu vaccine in this year for the one that was 6-7 years ago, that makes no sense at all. And yeah, they do mutate every single year, and they usually come back stronger. And it's why people probably die is they get the flu shot and they get this other one. And people don't realize this. The flu shot is a little bit of the flu. And of course, it's supposed to build up immune bodies in your body to be able to fight off if you do get the flu. But if it's not the same strand, it's not going to work. Amy Marm Brewster says, I do not get the flu shot. I'm guessing that my job may require it at some point, and then I'll have to rethink this. My immune system is top notch. I haven't had a cold or flu for years. Yeah, I don't get sick very often either. So I know I probably have gut health issues that could make the immune system compromised. I'm working on that. But in general, I'm pretty healthy all the time and don't get very sick. I also don't think the government knows what's best. They keep saying that we need grains and carbs. Yeah, Amy, they're actually, whether they realize it or not, they're contributing to the flu crisis, not helping it by pushing carbs and grains. The best immune shot I know of is high-intensity interval training, Kitty Caddick says. So I need to get back out there flipping that tire, huh, Cat? I'm thinking of doing that for one of my Jimmy rants, is doing a whole session of HIIT training on Jimmy rants. Stay tuned, that's coming. Kimberly Jackson Simmons, I took the flu shot once, and I've never been so, and I'm not saying that word in my life, never again. I'm trying to think what you meant to say. Never been so dead. Oh, sick. Sick in my life. Yes, autocorrect got you really good, Kimberly. Yeah, and it will make you sick. Because again, it's just a little bit of the flu, and some people, that little bit of the flu grows into a big bit of the flu, and they get the shot to prevent the flu, and they get the flu. Now, the CDC says, oh, that rarely happens. Yeah, right. I've always had mixed feelings about the shot. Yeah, Joshua, you're not alone. What they found was there was a certain segment of the population that always got the shot. There was a certain segment of the population that never got the shot. Then you had this wide middle area of people that are just like you. Probably 80% of people just go, I don't know, should I, shouldn't I? And I think it just depends on circumstances. If you walk into Walgreens or CVS or Rite Aid or wherever you go, and, hey, have you had your flu vaccine? Some people may be like, well, I've been meaning to do it. It's only, $25, $30, whatever it is, and they get it done. I don't think it's something that you make a concerted effort to go down to the drugstore and get done. Or if you go to your doctor's office, they may be like, hey, we can give you the flu shot today, and people would get it as an add-on that way. I don't think people go out of their way, the vast majority of people, to go get the flu shot. There are certain people that they get it like clockwork. In October, when it's available to get for the first time, they go right in there. Other people go, I ain't ever taken that. So you're not alone, Joshua. Amy says, our body comes with its own vaccine. It's called the immune system. Exactly, which is why I'm trying to communicate in this Jimmy Rants here today, is you don't need a flu vaccine if you're not feeding your body the things that would lower your immune system, which is mainly the sugars and the starches and the grains. And the reason they lower your immune system is they spike your insulin levels. And so insulin goes up, immune system has to go down to try to deal with the insulin raise. Again, we went into great detail all about this in Real Food Keto. Go pick up a copy of that book if you're interested. R.K. Sherman, 2002, I don't get the flu shot. I work with second graders. I have an awesome immune system. Keto works as well. Thank you for sharing that, R.K. Sherman. I actually was a substitute teacher back in the day, and I also lived with a Navy couple when I was in college that had very young children, and they were always getting sick. And so when they got sick, everybody in the house got sick. And I think from that experience of being exposed to all those germs and all the sicknesses so much, that I built up a pretty strong immune system long before I did keto. So it's really interesting. Yeah, if you're around children quite a bit, you do build up an immunity to pretty much anything that would come your way. All right, guys, so the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants here today is you're going to hear a lot about the Centers for Disease Control sounding the alarm that only 40% of Americans are rejecting their grand cure-all for the flu in the form of a flu vaccination. And I want you to collectively look at the CDC, lean in real close, and go, I don't need that. I eat keto. My immune system is strong. Thank you very much. I don't eat starches and grains and carbohydrates that would exacerbate my immune system. I take vitamin D levels, or I get vitamin D in some way. And I'm able to add bone broth to my diet. All of these things are boosting my immune system a whole heck of a lot better than any flu vaccine ever will. All right, guys, that's it for this Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. And if you want to join us, start off on Instagram Live. Go follow me there on Instagram at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. You can engage in the content like all these awesome people did here today. Watch it on the replay for 24 hours on Instagram. Then it pops over to YouTube, where it lives forever and ever, amen. And then we also have a Jimmy Rants podcast on Apple Podcasts. Please go write us a review on the Jimmy Rants podcast on Apple Podcasts. And JimmyRants.com is where you find all of that information. And until next time, we'll see you then.